First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Welcome to WUFT News, First at 5. I'm Ashley Weinstein.
And I'm Jake Reyes. Thank you for joining us. Americans across the state and country paused to honor the victims of the Parkland shooting yesterday. UF students had their very own memorial here in Gainesville. WUFT's Elena Barrera attended last night's vigil.
"17 candles, 17 names, 17 lives the Parkland, Florida community holds close to its heart."
Yes, it's very important to me that their memories are ultimately never forgotten and that their lives are considered no less meaningful just because they're cut short.
Tuesday marked the 5-year anniversary of the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School shooting. About 100 University of Florida students gathered in the Plaza of the Americas to mourn in solidarity. Students huddled together, listening to stories, remembering their peers.
For you, never again.
For most of the world, February 14th is spent celebrating loved ones. For everyone impacted by the tragedy, the holiday only makes it harder.
It was just a lot going on. The moment after I received the text, like there's a shooting at Douglas, it was just like a downhill spiral. And as we were watching the news, my 3 roommates and I, we had a knock on our door from people who were still celebrating Valentine's Day and like bringing us chocolate and flowers. And here we were like crying, watching the news.
Moriarty has been organizing these candle vigils with March for Our Lives Gainesville for the last 5 years. Moriarty wasn't directly affected, but she still wanted to help. She says people who were grieving deserve an event without the burden of planning it.
The people I knew were okay physically, but not everyone was. And at that point, it was kind of just like my sadness turned to fight. And so at that point, it was just like, how can we make sure this doesn't happen again?
A candle's light eventually dies out. But survivors are determined to keep the fires in their hearts burning strong. Elena Barrera, WUFT News.
March for Our Lives Gainesville is a branch of the larger organization. Its members advocate for gun policy changes. And Senator Rick Scott is also honoring the victims of the Parkland shooting on the Senate floor. Scott introduced a resolution Tuesday to remember the lives of the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School shooting that claimed 17 teachers and students in 2018. It also honors the memories of the survivors, emergency responders, and families in the Parkland community who had to deal with this tragic incident.
While we can't bring back the lives lost on that tragic day 5 years ago, I will always work to honor them and do everything in my power to protect our students and educators, ensure they have a safe environment to learn and succeed.
The resolution passed unanimously.
We're learning much more about the 3 young Michigan State University students who lost their lives in Monday night's mass shooting. Reporter Chris Pallone tells us what investigators are saying about the gunman's motive.
On the Michigan State University campus, a memorial continues to grow around the school's Sparty statue as grieving students and staffers remember the 3 people killed in Monday's rampage. Sophomore Brian Frazier and juniors Ariel Anderson and Alex Verner all died when Anthony McCrae walked onto their campus and started shooting. Verner's former high school principal remembering her as a role model for other students.
You try to surround yourself with people that make you feel good as a human being. And that's what Al did to everyone.
Classmates Wednesday honored the 3 by painting their names on the Rock, a popular campus gathering spot.
Do you feel safe? No!
Just a few miles away, people calling for lawmakers to pass stronger gun laws rallied outside the state capitol. Investigators say they have the weapon McCrae used in the attack, but have revealed little else about the investigation. The Michigan Attorney General said McCrae shouldn't have been able to get a gun after pleading guilty to a weapons charge a few years ago. With classes canceled for the week, some parents came to pick their children up and bring them home.
The minute we saw her, the tears started and we just hugged and held each other.
Meanwhile, more than 600 miles away, students in a New Jersey school district returned to class with extra police protection.
I feel bad because we can't send our kids to school anymore. It's almost like a fad or something that people just go on shooting up people in schools.
Administrators canceled classes Tuesday, with police revealing McCray made threats against Ewing Township schools on a note found in his pocket Monday night.
Al Sharpton came to Florida today for a rally against the state's decision to ban a newly developed AP African American Studies course. Appearing in Tallahassee this afternoon, Sharpton said conservatives are trying to whitewash Black history. A Tallahassee teacher signed up for the pilot course before controversy erupted over certain modules in the working draft. Governor Ron DeSantis said a few topics looked like indoctrination to political theories rather than history. The State Department of Education told the College Board the AP course would be unacceptable in Florida if unchanged.
As for Governor Ron DeSantis, he's in Broward County today and targeting big tech. Late this afternoon, he spoke at Florida Atlantic University and called for Florida lawmakers to pass a digital bill of rights. He wants to make sure people consent before they're tracked by cell phones or targeted for ads when using online platforms. He also said more safeguards are needed in computer networks for state and local governments and schools to guard against foreign adversaries collecting data through TikTok or other apps.
It is getting hot outside today. I came in today and I had to take off my jacket. I'm like, what's going on? Isn't it still winter?
I was sweating on the way over here. Oh my gosh. WFT's Julia Haley joins us now to tell us a little bit more about the weather. Julia, is it going to cool down at all?
Well, you know, with that heat, the humidity is not helping either. Those temperatures currently sitting in the 80s. 80 for Gainesville, 82 Ocala, 76 Palatka, 74 St. Augustine, 78 Jacksonville, and 77 for High Springs. Now outside of our studio, currently seeing those blue skies outside, very sunny and no clouds in sight in our current view. 79 degrees outside of our studio with some southerly winds as well. Look at that sun starting to set. And for the rest of this evening, we are dropping from the upper 60s into the mid 50s. Now, by the time you wake up tomorrow, you should be seeing some patchy fog in the area on your way to work. Back to you.
Thank you.
A new system at the University of Florida's athletic facility will allow Gators to appear as though they were anywhere in the world without leaving campus. The studio is located in what used to be the equipment room for the Florida Gators football team. The View system is currently being used to showcase UF student athletes and to support recruitment. The same technology is being used in Hollywood to phase out green screens. By filming the screen directly rather than editing out a green screen, production is much more efficient. UF Athletic Director Scott Strickland commented on how this technology is used in Disney's modern productions.
You know, some of the stuff that Disney's produced in their Star Wars series, some of these mini-series that they've done, they're shooting all those in front of one of these big screens, and you look like you're in faraway lands and in space.
Strickland said this system is exclusive to the University of Florida.
The View should be great for recruiting. It's action-packed.
Speaking of action-packed, two floundering SEC men's basketball teams duke it out down the street tonight with hopes of keeping their NCAA tournament dreams alive. I'll tell you who the teams are later in sports.
Coming up on WUFT News, first at 5. More than 10 manatees are being released from rehab facilities in Orange City. We'll give you the status on the animals when we come back to First at 5.
You're watching WUFT TV News.
Welcome back. The Fort Myers community is mourning the loss of one of its beloved. Police Chief Derek Diggs died earlier today. An Ohio native, Diggs served with Fort Myers PD since 2016 and was a law enforcement official for more than 46 years. Back in July, Diggs announced he was taking a leave of absence, citing serious health conditions. He was set to return to work in April. Acting chief and Fort Myers residents say Diggs was a kind man and a great leader. Arrangements to honor the chief are being made.
A family in Miami's Little Havana neighborhood says a dump truck crashed into their home yesterday. The truck, which was said to be stolen from a moving company, crashed into the home, narrowly missing a 1-year-old child in the residence. No one was injured, but investigators say the truck crashed into a white car before barreling through the family's living room. The driver of the truck and the driver of the car that was hit were taken to the hospital and are in stable condition. The owner of the stolen truck, Amon Richards, says he was getting ready to close for the day when he heard the strange noise in the parking lot. And after looking outside, he realized the truck was being stolen. Officials have not released the driver's name or said what the charges are that he may face.
13 manatees are out of rehab and swimming free. Wildlife experts released them 1 or 2 at a time this week at Blue Springs State Park in Orange City. The hope is the manatees will join a large herd there and get back to normal life. A number of zoos, aquariums, and rescue organizations teamed up on this project. In recent years, the FWC count of manatees in the world has dropped below 6,000.
Hey Ashley, are you going to the baseball game?
I'm not usually great about going to sports games, but I probably should start going. But no, I'm not going tonight.
I might be, but WFT's Julia Haley says that it could be a little bit rainy out there. We'll see how the showers might be coming back in a few minutes.
You're watching WUFT TV News.
Currently tracking a snowstorm in the Colorado area. 2 low pressure systems are helping to bring the precipitation and also the cold we need for that storm to occur. Seeing snow within the Denver area and throughout the city as well, over all of the rooftops and even throughout the city. Now here in Gainesville specifically, not much really going on for our afternoon and into our evening. Mostly staying sunny, just a little bit of a pocket full of sunshine for our day. Now outside of our studio, seeing those blue skies outside, 78 degrees. We are starting to cool down, some sunny skies as well. Above average temperatures for this time of year, sitting in the 80s overall, 84 Gainesville, and those southerly winds helping to bring all of the warmth that we are currently seeing. Now for this evening, we are expecting those sunny and dry conditions to stay. We're going to drop through the 60s and those clouds are going to start forming. That low pressure system is going to start moving our way, giving us that chance for showers as well. Your lows for your Thursday morning sitting in the mid 50s overall, and some patchy fog just a little bit north of I-10 and some fog as well for our area. Thursday, your highs sitting in the 80s, very above average for this time of year. 85 for Gainesville, 82 Bronson, 85 Ocala and the Villages. Those southerly winds helping to bring that warmth to our area for another day. Now we do have those showers for your Friday, so if you're planning on going to the baseball game, expect those showers. Future track showing we have a cold front pushing through. Now this is the cold front that was attached to that snowstorm over in Colorado, and we're going to have those scattered showers throughout the area for Friday evening, and then they'll clear out and we'll get some drier conditions for the rest of your weekend. But if you are going to that baseball game for the start of baseball season, it's going to be breezy. Expect that chance for showers, and then we're going to cool down for your Saturday with some cloudy skies as well. So for Saturday, we're sitting in the upper 60s, and for your Sunday, rising back again into the 70s. So starting to get warmer again. Now, of course, it is winter season and baseball season, but it's also allergy season. So seeing that chance for grass pollen to stay throughout our area, so you may experience a runny nose or itchy eyes. Now for the rest of your week, expect those highs in the 80s, afternoon showers, and it's going to cool down just a little bit. So looking at the week, patchy fog for your Thursday, storms Friday, and then warming up throughout the rest of the week. Back to you.
Thanks, Julia. Hey, Ashley, did you know that the Gator softball team is ranked 3rd in the nation?
I haven't seen teams ranked this dominant since I was in Little League.
Well, first of all, I didn't know that you played softball, which is really, really cool. But also, well, lucky for you, U.S. home openers tonight as they take on your hometown Jacksonville team, the hometown Jacksonville University Dolphins. Here are all the details after the break.
You're watching WUFT TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm Karina Wilson. Tonight, the number 3 Florida Gators softball team hosts the Jacksonville Dolphins in Florida's home opener. Here's a live look at the scene. It looks like the Gators are warming up. The Gators are gearing up to play their home opener for the 2023 season. The Gators enter this game 4-0 on the season after 3 wins in the USF tournament and a win yesterday. In the 4 games so far this season, the Gators have outscored their opponents an astonishing 54-4. Yesterday, the Gators played Jacksonville, who they host today. That game ended 24 hours ago, 13-2 in favor of Florida. As a team, the Gators are getting on base an impressive 60% of plate appearances while limiting their opponents to just a 22% mark for the same stat. Today is the start of a 6-game home stretch, which includes 5 games this weekend in the T-Mobile tournament. Currently, the number 5 ranked team in the nation, 3 ranked team in the nation, the Gators look to remain perfect on the year, taking on the Jacksonville Dolphins in less than an hour. Over in the O-Dome, the struggling Florida Gators men's basketball team prepares to take on the equally shoddy Ole Miss Rebels. The Gators have lost 3 straight games. Similarly, the Rebels dropped 6 of their last 7 matchups. Florida head coach Todd Golden said the squad is regrouped and that the battle is not over.
I thought our guys did a really good job of understanding where we were deficient, understanding that we missed an opportunity, and but also not compounding it by thinking, all right, this puts us dead and buried.
Set for 6:30 p.m. The Orange and Blue are riding a 3-game losing streak into enemy territory, Columbia, South Carolina. Tomorrow, the Gators women's basketball team faces its toughest opponent yet, the Gamecocks, and UF is on a 3-game losing streak. Meanwhile, the reigning national champions, captained by Aaliyah Boston, are the only remaining undefeated team in D1 women's basketball. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. Day 2 of the SEC championships for swimming and diving is currently underway in College Station, Texas. After day 1, the Gators claimed 4 medals. In the women's 800 freestyle relay, the Orange and Blue swam the 3rd fastest time in program history, earning the first conference title of the meet. At last look, UF's women's team sits in 2nd place, while the men's team is currently in 4th. Local high school girls basketball has transitioned smoothly into postseason play as many area teams have advanced to their respective final rounds. Last night, the Hawthorne Hornets took on the Newberry Panthers in the Class 1A regional final. Hawthorne sophomore Demaya Adams dropped 41 points. According to Hornets head coach Cornelius Ingram, Adams is the school's first girls basketball player to score 40 or more. Hawthorne advances to the state championships with a dominant 80-55 victory over the Panthers. Ingram said his team is prepared for states.
This type of success doesn't happen overnight. You don't wake up and say, oh, we're going to try to get to the Final Four this year. Like, these girls work extremely hard. Football team as well, boys basketball. We prepare the right way, and they love preparing. And I think that's one of the edges we definitely have.
The Hornets battle Ponce de Leon next Wednesday at 6 p.m. in Lakeland. The Gainesville Hurricanes playoff run came to an end last night as they fell just 2 points short to the Land O'Lakes Gators. However, the PK Young Blue Wave topped the Masters Academy Eagles 57-44, advancing to the Class 3A regional final versus Providence School Friday at 7 p.m. That's all for sports. I'm Karina Wilson.
Sun is setting for our evening, seeing those highs sitting in the 70s for now, cooling down with those partly cloudy skies. Overall, look at that golden hour outside of our studio. But for the rest of this week, expect the patchy fog for your Thursday. Those highs in the mid-80s, exceptionally high for this time of year, lowering and then rising once again after that cold front sweeps through our area and brings that chance for showers. Back to you.
Thanks, Julia. BBC World News is next, and the PBS NewsHour is coming up at 7.
But remember, your Florida news is always on at WUFT.org. Have a great night.